Welcome to BookJuice. Whether you're holding on to a life that looks good on paper but feels hollow inside, or quietly wondering if you've been chasing the wrong things, this reflection is for you. Because the death of Ivan Ilyich isn't about death. It's about the brutal clarity that comes too late, unless you choose to see it now. If you're ready for reflections that get under the surface, like the video and hit subscribe. We do this for the ones on the go who still want to grow. Ivan Ilyich lived the way he was told to live. He followed the rules. He chased promotions. He bought the furniture, married the right person, smiled at the right parties. But here's the part nobody talks about. It's possible to build a life so perfectly acceptable and still die realizing you never actually lived it. One quote that really stuck out from the book says, Ivan Ilyich's life had been most simple and most ordinary, and therefore most terrible. Think about that. Not terrible because it was full of pain, not terrible because it was a tragedy, terrible because it was empty, because he spent so long trying to avoid discomfort, failure, embarrassment, that he ended up avoiding meaning too. There's another line that cuts right through the mask. He wept on account of his helplessness, his terrible loneliness, the cruelty of man, the cruelty of God, and the absence of God. Let's sit with that. Because at the end of it all, after all the promotions, all the dinners, all the titles, he wasn't left with love. He wasn't left with memories. He was left with a terrifying question. What if it was all wrong? And finally, a quote that stops you cold. He sought his former habitual fear of death and did not find it. Meaning, at the end, death wasn't the thing he feared most. It was the realization that he had never truly lived. And there's no undoing that when the clock runs out. Here's the raw truth. You can spend your whole life building a version of success only to realize you left your real self outside the door decades ago. Juice drop. The real tragedy isn't dying. It's living without ever having shown up. And yes, we say it out loud because it matters. So here's your reflection. Where in your life are you still performing the image of a life instead of actually living one? Drop it in the comments. This is the kind of reflection that changes everything if you're honest with yourself. Grab The Death of Ivan Ilyich and let it remind you it's not too late to change the ending, but you have to start now. This is BookJuice, short reflections, deep impact.